We're adding to our playlists. We've got Matt here from Great Southern Mining for a new playlist that we're doing. It's called The Trifecta, mate. So a little bit of gambling, a little bit of mining. Mining can be a bit of a gamble, can't it? So exploration camps set up.
We base around Laverton. We've got 3 projects, north, east and south. North of Laverton, south of Regis. Most people sort of know Regis Resources. So we're in the Duketon Belt. They've got the top half. We've got a portion of the bottom half. And we're actively hunting away for gold.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the gold price at the moment? What are your thoughts?
It's great and it's strong. And I think it's sustained. So if you know the word contango means basically an asset class that's continually going up. And gold's really been going up, what they call IP-induced polarization targets, which, for the investor, they're the big red blobs you see on the screen, which are just screaming out for a drill hole.
Maybe in 12 months' time, we'll see where you are. You might have sold off some assets by then. Welcome back to the Gold Room. Today we've got a ripper episode. We're adding to our playlists. We've got Matt here from Great Southern Mining.
Hi, Josh.
Thank you very much for coming in, mate.
Pleasure.
Your company and yourself are the first for a new playlist that we're doing. It's called The Trifecta, mate. So a little bit of gambling, a little bit of mining. Mining can be a bit of a gamble, can't it? So that's what you're in here for. We're going to be interviewing CEOs, CFOs and COOs. We've reached out to a few and we've had a bit of a awesome reception. And also, check this out. Did you see the front of our timber board there? We've now got the Gold Room logo etched in the front. So that's all from Jack Flanagan and his team in the building next door, mate. So
very good.
Pretty bloody happy about it. All right, mate, let's kick it off. So we always start with the life and the times. Hit us with everything you've got, mate.
Okay. Life and times of me, Matt Keane. Look, I ended school, most kids do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I don't think anything geology or earth sciences was on the cards, just really because, my family weren't really into it. Mum was a nurse, Dad was in the airlines. But I went to university, going through probably first or second year uni and thought, what am I going to do here? And there was a sign on the board. I was thinking probably going to zoology, I love animals, but that was never going to pay right. So looking at a little sign on the wall at admin, it said highest paid degrees or highest paid people out of uni. Number 1 was medicine, of course. Number 2 was dentistry. Number 3 was earth science. I said, what's earth science? And they said, that's geology, basically. Geologists get paid really well. I said, right, okay, that sounds good. And I went down that path. But, what you don't know at uni is that mining cycle, particularly gold cycle, is very cyclic. So it was about a 4-year cycle then. So, as luck would have it, by the time I graduated, of course, we're at $270 an ounce gold price and times are pretty bloody hard. But anyway, I was lucky enough to get a job. So I started with Linus Gold back when they were a gold company before they became Linus Corp. Obviously the big rare earth company they are today. It was good company, good people, but pretty hard, and pay wasn't great. And I actually ended up did a couple of years and pulled the pin, and of course went back to uni and did more geology.
Didn't learn your lesson the first time?
No, not at all. But and things sort of started to improve. I did the old working holiday over in Europe, and someone gave us a call from Australia and said, come back. BHP's merged with Billiton. It's going to be huge. They're offering jobs. So I landed a job in iron ore, and I think it paid about 60 grand per year from memory.
What year? 96, 97?
It would have been about 2001.
Oh, really?
Things were just starting to sort of kick off in iron ore. And I think I was on $29,000 with Linus, maybe a little bit more, but so basically double the money in about two and a half, 3 years.
From what everyone's getting paid today, right?
That's it. But that was good money then. So came back and really fell in love with it. I did a bit of exploration geology, a lot of mine geology. And I went through, worked a lot of bulks, iron ore, coal, bauxite, got some really good experience, worked with some, really good people, did fly in, fly out, did residential, got a good spread, and drifted outside of geology, did a bit of mining engineering, some resource estimation, then sort of somehow ended up running production. So, running 120 guys, supervising, a couple of fleets of trucks. That was stressful, but, a really good learning curve.
Up north?
Actually, that was down in Boddington.
Oh, okay.
So down at Boddington Bauxite Mine.
Yep.
So there's 2 mines there. They're gold mine and the bauxite mine. And then sort of, as fate have it, another sort of a mate started putting my name forward as an analyst. I think he wanted to actually rip me out of the industry and get me on the corporate side.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work, but somehow landed with Paladin Energy in a mergers and acquisitions role, what I call an M&A role. So that was my step out of industry into corporate. So, that was really fun, but it was a time when uranium was just flying, and then it got absolutely pileaxed, and that was on Fukushima. So anyway,
You got Fukushima.
I got absolutely Fukushima'd. So I was up in Bali, and I'd quit my job at BHP, and I was thinking I'm starting this great new corporate role, and then uranium's absolutely dead. They've just blown up a reactor. Or reactor's just had a massive incident.
Yeah.
Called up John Borshoff, who was the head of Paladin at the time. Really charismatic guy, really funny, fun guy as well. Said, have I got a job? And he goes, absolutely, mate. This thing's going to blow over in an instant. It took 12 years, I think, for uranium to recover. Coincidentally, I'm also on the board of a uranium company now as a NED. So I kept that knowledge and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I saw the writing on the wall a little bit, and then jumped into an analyst role.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy your role as an analyst?
Yeah, really, really enjoyed it. So, great thing about an analyst, you just see so many assets, and it's a bit of a cameo. You go to an asset, you're there for a day or a day and a half, and you're out. So, you don't have to go and stay there for 2 weeks on, 1 week off. But you see so much, and globally as well. So, I was there for 8 years at Argonaut Securities, and just saw heaps of different companies, mines, and you learn a bit. You learn not only what assets work, what mines, what exploration companies work, but also you get to see a lot of strategy and people's different approach, different MDs, and I think that helped me going into the next role where I jumped out and sort of did a CEO role, and then currently in the role where I'm now, so I'm MD of Great Southern Mining. So I sort of fast forward the last little bit there, but that's really sort of the life and the times how I got to where I am now. So pretty deviated winding course, but enjoyed every bit of it.
Mate, I'm really interested in the analyst role. Before we get into Great Southern Mining, which we can cover some ground there, for some of our viewers that might not understand what's involved in that role. So run us through probably a couple of weeks on site or whatever you think to be advantageous.
Yeah, sort of a week in the life. It's actually quite a hard role. You're sort of the guy who works long hours at a brokerage or an investment firm. So I was on what's called the sell side. So it was a brokerage buying, selling shares, doing corporate finance. So effectively, an analyst is the buy, sell, hold guy. You write reports. It's almost like writing essays, a couple of days sort of thing.
Yep.
But you get to analyse a company, write a financial report on it, do the sort of the more sort of qualitative aspect, and then say should an investor buy, sell, or hold it. But you do a bit more than that as well. You also I thought it was a bit like a gatekeeper role at a brokerage or a firm. You've got companies like me, Great Southern Mining now, we always want to sort of try and get some support from a brokerage investment firm. You want their help to raise money. You also want, maybe the analyst to write research on you. But that analyst is sort of got to say, okay, is this going to fly with my firm? Are we looking at their commodity? Is this company big enough, or are they just, not for us right now? So it's good like that. I really enjoyed it. So that's kind of what an analyst does.
Okay, awesome.
And a bit more.
Yeah, I can imagine. Right, mate. Great Southern Mining. Your role, how many staff are currently working for Great Southern Mining?
Look, we're pretty small, so we keep it lean and mean. We're probably 5-6 people at the moment. Primarily we're geologists because we're exploration. So, a team of 3 geos, financial CFO who's also the COSEC chairman who's comes in every day, great bloke, enjoys his job.
Beautiful,
and,
that's what you
and
need.
myself.
So
we're all really hands-on.
Small, great team.
Yeah, and look, to give you an idea, all hands-on. So, we did a soil sampling campaign early this year, and you can imagine we had a senior geo from Queensland over, and it was myself, the chairman, the CFO, and this geo all digging holes in the bush, taking samples. That's the sort of company we are. It actually was great to be at the office, get a bit of sunshine.
Yeah, for sure. So exploration camps set up?
Yeah, we've got a great base out of Laverton. So we base around Laverton. We've got 3 projects, north, east, and south, and that's just a.
What are they? What are they called? Let's start with one.
Okay, so call our flagship asset in around that is the Duketon Gold Project. So that's north of Laverton, south of Regis. Most people sort of know Regis Resources. So
Yep.
we're in the Duketon Belt. They've got the top half. We've got a portion of the bottom half. And we're actively hunting away for gold. So we've got a number of really advanced prospects and they're looking good. I'm sure we're going to define resources as we keep plugging away with the drill rig.
Yep.
And hopefully that's really what we're onto this year.
Grams per tonne for Duketon?
Look, the average, it's actually a pretty low-grade belt, right? So I think Regis, for the life of that asset, have put about 1 gram per tonne through their mills.
Wow.
We've got an advanced sort of prospect, Southern Star, which is probably going around 2 grams, although we haven't put out a formal resource, but that's sort of where our internal estimations are. So it's a low-grade belt, but big mills make it work. And in this gold price, you know, you can actually make money out of some pretty low grade. I mean, some of the stockpiles going through mills at the moment.
Yep.
People that balk at the grade.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the gold price at the moment? What are your thoughts?
Look, it's great and it's strong, and I think it's sustained. So I don't think we're looking at, say, you know, a lithium price, which has had sort of a bit of a bubble effect. You know, if you know the word contango means basically an asset class that's continually going up, and gold's really been going up since, you know, my poor old days at Linus Gold, where it was $270 an ounce.
It's wild.
You know, we've sawtoothed,
Yep.
but you know, we're now,
It's certainly jumped.
Mate,
in the
we're
last 12, 18 months, it's just jumped and jumped.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've spoken to has just said, wow, it's obscene.
But if you look at the fundamentals behind gold, it's hard to say what's going to make it retreat.
For sure.
You know, we're diluting currencies. We've got, you know, increased global instability.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is usually, global instability is usually what drives the price of gold up.
it has an effect, but actually it's more interest rates and inflation
Oh, is it?
and sort of that. What drives gold is, you know, when it's a counter-cyclical defensive investment. So yeah, we're sort of in a defensive investment world where people say, okay, well, things could go pear-shaped. You know, the share markets are well and truly, we shouldn't say that, they seem to be overvalued,
Yep.
you know, from the index point of view. There's not much out there, you know, Bitcoin's quite sort of volatile. You know, gold's just, it's a great defense.
Yeah, it is. It is. So you've got Duketon as your primary. What's next?
Next would actually be over in Queensland, which I'll probably talk a bit later, but that's a really interesting project. I'd actually rank it as, you know, equal priority for us, although we have joint ventured that. May touch on that in a bit. But over in the Laverton region, we've got Monami to the south, which is a small mining license, but pretty much shovel ready. That's, you know, a term a lot of guys throw around, but, you know, it's permitted, got the environmentals done, got the heritage side of it done. It's on a mining license, permitted out to the road. So it's one of these small little gold deposits. So, you know, talking sort of 50,000 ounces, but, you know, in this world, it's something you can actually monetize and make some pretty decent free cash out of it if it's ready to go. So that's one, you know, conceptually, we could be mining that within sort of 6 to 8 months.
So there's quite a few mills around around that area, isn't there? So obviously you got Regis. Who else could you possibly be looking at, or would they possibly be looking at you?
Look, it's I think you use a term, a bit of a game of mines happening around the Leonora Laverton region. There's a lot of mines there. So, you know,
Genesis.
You've got Genesis. So they've got the Mount Morgan's mill, which is, you know, I'm sure they're going to be looking for ore in the future. You've got Granny Smith's, which is Goldfields. Further south, you've got Sunrise Dam, which is Anglo.
Yep.
You know, Bright Star like to get their mill up and running, the Bright Star mill. You've also got Focus. I'm sure Focus in a couple of years are going to have a mill there around their Laverton hub. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Vault Minerals has King of the Hill.
True. Probably a bit far for us, but, you know, they're going to be probably competing for ore in the region as well.
Yeah, that's right. So what about Queensland?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's kind of what's exciting for us at the moment. So big land, big tenement package, chasing those big monster deposits, you know, porphyries, epithermals, you know, the giants. So in 2023, we did a joint venture with Goldfields, which is, you know, really interesting in sort of how this came about. But, you know, Goldfields, obviously, I think they're 4th largest gold producing company globally. And they looked at that project and just saw great opportunity, not enough drilling, centred around the Mount Carlton mine, which they knew well. And, you know, it's interesting, there's just been not enough work done. So
Was that a $2.5 million investment that they threw into that with you?
It's all up. They're going to spend $15 million to earn a 75% stake.
Wow.
They had a minimum spend of $2.5 million. They've really hit the ground running. They're onto that already.
Awesome.
And we've got some great targets there. So the joint venture, there's what they call IP-induced polarization targets, which, for the investor, they're the big red blobs you see on the screen, which are just screaming out for a drill hole.
Awesome.
So that should be happening hopefully in the second quarter of this year.
Who are you using as your drilling company?
That'll be Goldfields to organise. So it hasn't been announced yet. So I won't say who they got on the crosshairs.
Yeah, all right.
But that's really big news for them. For a company like us, we probably couldn't afford to do the work that they've done to date so quickly.
They've got that huge capital investment.
Yeah, we just couldn't raise that money that quick. And, raising money for the geophysics, which is the feeders, is quite hard. So, having that partner who can do it, and if we end up with 25% of a monster discovery, happy days.
Yeah, fantastic.
And a good partner, really good mining partner.
Yeah, far out, mate. So that's 3. What's our 4th one?
East Laverton, so earlier stage, but prospective both gold and base metals. There's a nice big intrusion there. So if you sort of look on a magnetic map from space, there's a really big intrusion there, which we think is prospective for nickel, copper, PGEs.
Wow!
So we are going to be doing some work there. So watch this space a bit. Yep. As well as working up the gold side of that. So very prospective for gold as well.
Yeah, so everyone's pushing gold pretty bloody hard at the moment. So anything that comes off the tail end of that would be an asset, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So some of the companies that we've been, I've been speaking to off the back of gold, obviously quite close to copper. What are some of the other minerals that are close on that tenement?
On the East Laverton, look, I think we've got a real chance for a PGE style discovery, similar to what Chalice have found there at Gonneville.
Okay.
Quite similar sort of geological setting, different, but same, but different. That makes sense. So, we want to flush that out and see the prospectivity and give that a go. So it will be, It's one of those projects you sort of bubble up in the background and, hopefully we can surprise the market with something good in the future.
Yeah, beautiful. So what you're looking for is some investment in the business and looking for some bloody ripper analysts to come and have a look and do what you used to do and and pump the business up.
Yeah, it's always good to get analyst support. The analysts, they can sort of put their spin on it, but they can sometimes tell the story a bit beyond what the market understands and a bit more than you can say publicly without sort of going outside sort of the realms of what is. They can say, okay, look, if I can see this drill hole here, that one there, they can sort of measure it up and say...
How do they measure that up?
It's a bit of a thumbs up. No, keep going.
Matt, can you just go into what an analyst would be looking at in regards to drill holes? You've already got drill holes all over the place. You've found that, you might have hit a gold pocket at 1.5 grams per tonne. You'd be drilling north, south, east, west, finding out where it starts to peter off. How are they working out and how are they going to estimate?
Yeah.
How much gold is actually there?
Yeah, what it could be. I think you basically look at it and say, okay, we've got a drill hole here, another one, say, maybe 500 metres away. The average width is looking like it's, 4 or 5 metres. So far, they've drilled it down to 50 metres. I might give them, say, it looks like it's continuing. I might make the depth 100 metres. So it's just sort of a geometric sort of analysis, that by the width, by the grade, divided by the calculation of grams to ounces.
Yep.
And then I might say, okay, well, this is looking like a couple 100,000. This is looking like 1 million ounces. And say, okay, well, is it in a stranded belt out in the middle of nowhere where, the cost of an ounce, you've got to build a mill that's probably worth, maybe $20 to $50 per ounce, and multiply that by how many ounces you think there are, and there's the value of what the asset is. Or you might say, okay, well, it's actually close to an area, lots of mills who want to buy this, so maybe we'll value this at somewhere between $80 and $100 per ounce.
Okay.
And that's, roughly you get a value. And it's funny how the market can be quite accurate in sort of, if you do the maths and then you look at the underlying share price, well, the market actually worked that out pretty quick.
Right.
So, yeah, that's
so you could be looking at something, if Duketon's south of current Regis mining, surely you'd be knocking on the door and saying, this is what we've found. You're interested in purchasing this tenement?
Yeah, look,
purchasing this tenement.
Look, we obviously keep a close relationship with those guys. We share ideas. We've both got opportunity to learn off each other when it comes to exploration. But yeah, look, I'm sure they watch what we're doing, and we try and sort of learn off what they're doing, looking over the border.
Yep.
A lot of the time we've got drill rigs basically literally over the fence.
At what point does a junior, such as yourself, at what point do they say, right, we're going to get someone like Access Hire in, we're going to get MMS involved, we're going to do a joint venture with a company, and then start pulling ore out of the ground yourself?
Yeah, it's funny. Like when times are hard, you'll find that the majors will basically let that exploration or developer go almost right the way through to the point where they might have even financed a mine before they said, right, okay, like now this makes sense to us. We'll snaffle it up. You've done all the hard work. You've spent your dollars. But when things are competitive or you're in a competitive area, sometimes they even come in before there's even a resource being defined. So, but really, the major wants to look over the fence and say, okay, I'm going to run my numbers on that. Does it work? Does the metallurgy fit our mill? Can we make some money out of it? If so, should we own it? Is it overvalued? Is it fairly priced? That's kind of it. But generally, it's at the point where you've got a resource defined. It's got the right sort of chemistry and metallurgy to go through their mills, and they're going to make a profit.
Is that quite important? The metallurgy of course, making a profit is very important.
Shouldn't be, should it?
Well, that's how you get the shareholders on board. The metallurgy for the mill.
Yeah, absolutely. You see that in regions where you'll have something. The market sees, oh God, there's 500,000 ounces here. Why is no one touching it? Sometimes it's because it might have something like a carbonaceous shale or something, or copper, which is what they call preg robbing, like takes the reagents out of the mill when you process it. Yep. And the mills don't want to complicate their process by putting this, want a better term, the hard rubbish ore through it.
Yep. Yeah, actually, I do know something about shale, mate. I'm not just a total dummy. Shale has the same properties or similar properties as carbon. So during if shale gets into the circuit, then it can actually absorb the gold. So that when they're digging, they find a pocket of shale, they try and dig around it as much as possible or remove it. So,
leave it in the ground.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah, so look, it is important. But then you might find the mill down the road's got plenty of carbonaceous shale and they love the stuff. They'll have a go at it.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
if they've got the right processing set up.
Yeah, okay. Oh, look, mate, thanks very much for spending the time coming in. Do you have any parting words for any prospective investors or joint venture partners? What would you say to a company or individuals wanting to invest in Great Southern Mining?
I think if you're investing in the space right now, great time to be in the junior gold space. You've seen the miners, the developers in our space are really fully valued, and that's in relation to the gold price. But you're in a weird situation where the investment money hasn't quite come down to what we are, the explorers. So this is a really good time to sort of get ahead of the packs. And the total turn, the money will come in, whether that's driven by someone's big discovery or really just the big guys getting full and the money has to come down the curve. But, it's a good time you want to pick good team, good company, great ground, and I'd actually say, and this is talking now Great Southern Mining, something that's, in a competitive region, so near a lot of installed infrastructure, because it's very expensive to build a mill right now. I'm sure you'd appreciate that, being in the service industry.
Yep.
So if you don't have to build a mill, and that's, I think, where Great Southern are going to be, we'll need to discover at least, probably 3 million ounces in Duketon before you'd contemplate building it, because there's just so much installed infrastructure. So I reckon that's a good investment thesis right now. Look for those gold companies who are got real good ground, good people, good assets, but, also got that advantage of being in a well-established region.
Yeah. Mate, last question for me. Next 12 months for Great Southern Mining, what do we have on the cards?
Oh, it's actually going to be a really busy year.
Awesome.
So, look, we're going to be going really hard at our Duketon project. So we want to move from being that exploration, having prospects, to quantifying those into resources. So that's going to be happening. We got on the ground early this year, started drilling. So results, around the corner, probably, maybe as early as this week, might see some trickling in.
Beautiful. Send them over, mate.
And, over in Queensland, the work that Gret Goldfields are doing, a couple of big holes going into some really exciting, big red blobs on the geophysical screen.
Awesome.
Drilling those out. I want to get over there and have a look when they drill it. Haven't asked permission of Goldfields, but I'm sure they'll let us.
I'm sure they will.
But, that could be anything. So a lot happening. And
Awesome.
on the corporate side, we're in a competitive space. I think we're in a situation where we've just got to try and get ourselves up the value curve as quick as possible because, as soon as you start quantifying things, there's that many mills around, you may not be around long.
That's exactly right. So what would you prefer to stay with Great Southern Mining or, stay on and look for more targets, or joint venture partnerships or be sold out?
The answer you've got to give is that we're going to do whatever's best for shareholders, and that's the reality. We are going to do it, but I'd love to either roll the company on, sell the assets, and roll the company on, do it all again. I'd also love to be a miner as well.
Passionate about it, eh? I love it.
I'd love to be a miner as well. I'd love to be sinking a shovel into something. Saying, okay, we discovered this and we're mining it. But
awesome.
Where that happens, we'll see.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, mate, thank you very much for coming and spending time.
Thanks, Josh.
Not a problem, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in to this brand new playlist, The Trifecta. Awesome having Matt Keane in today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.